Welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on smart reporting to BMC Helix dashboards. So this is in a workshop mode. We've got 3 presenters today. Before we get started, just a couple of reminders. You do have the Q&A section of Zoom that you can use if you have any questions. We are going to be covering quite a few different topics. So please use the Q&A, and then we will have live Q&A that we will take right at the end. So with that, I'm going to hand over to our first presenter, Nikhil Deshpande, to get us started. So over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Sam. Good morning and good afternoon to our audience today. Thank you for joining this workshop, which is focused on how you can transition from smart reporting to Helix dashboards. We have got an exciting workshop coming up that will help you understand why you should move to dashboards, how it helps you graduate in your journey to generate insights from your BMC Helix solutions, which is not just limited to ITSM, but the entire range of BMC Helix service ops solutions. I am joined by my colleagues Abhinay and Ajinkya today, and together we are going to cover this workshop. So we're going to start with why BMC Helix Dashboards is the most appropriate dashboarding solution for BMC Helix products. We'll talk about how it's different and why it's the most appropriate solution for you to adopt. Next, we'll look at the best practices of migrating from smart reporting to dashboards. Many of you may still be using smart reporting for your reporting on ITSM. We'll look at what you need to do to make that transition smooth for your company and your end users. Next, we'll look at a demo of some of the exciting new features within BMC Helix dashboards, followed by a product roadmap. We'll also have live Q&A, so please use the question and answer window in Zoom to post your questions, and we'll be happy to respond to your questions. There are 2 prerequisite training courses for this workshop, and you will have access to both of these courses on BMC Academy. Please ensure that you have an account on BMC Academy. It's a prereq for you to be able to take these 2 courses. These are usually paid training courses, but as a promotion for those who attend this workshop, we grant you free access. So there's a course on fundamentals using BMC Helix dashboards, and the second one on migrations. Legal notice, we're going to be talking about the product roadmap. Please make sure that you make any purchase decisions based on features that are generally available. So let's start with BMC Helix dashboards. Let's start with service ops. For far too long, within IT organizations, there have existed broadly 2 organizational units, that is service management and operations management. Service management is focused on service desk, incident management, problem, change, release, knowledge, and so on. Operations management is concerned around events, metrics, capacity management, and so on. However, in the past, these 2 organizations have worked in silos, and the walls between these 2 are not conducive to IT organizations realizing their goals and to make their customers, their businesses competitive. Today, every company needs to be competitive in the marketplace to be able to compete with not just established enterprises, but also smaller, nimble startups who do not have the baggage of legacy enterprise systems. For this, it's important for all companies to embrace service ops. Service ops is what unifies service management and operations management. Service ops is BMC's strategy in this area. How do we do it? How do we bring together service management and operations management? We leverage AI in a big way to help you gain insights into your implementations. We also foster collaboration across IT departments, across service management and operations management. We also say that many companies are embracing DevOps, and it's important to ensure that IT does not become an obstacle to DevOps. With BMC Helix, we can help you partner with your lines of businesses so that when they develop and deploy software, you can ensure that it's done in a way that it does not compromise on the speed of execution for these teams, as well as it can help you uphold governance so that you comply with uh, all IT policies and procedures. We also see that in the past few years, the concept of service management is no longer limited just to IT departments. Today, any function in a company that is not in the business of serving external customers is in the business of serving internal customers. So think of functions like facilities, HR, finance, and so on. Everyone is serving some internal customer, and all of them need to have policies, procedures, and systems that enable them to meet and exceed customer expectations. At BMC, we realize all of this, and all of these are an integral part of service ops. Dashboarding or reporting is no different. BMC Helix Dashboards is an integral part of the BMC Helix suite. With BMC Helix Dashboards, we help you realize the service ops vision. How do we do that? We'll now get into the details. BMC Helix Dashboards is built on Grafana, which is a state-of-the-art dashboarding technology. Grafana helps you consume information in an action-oriented way. Whenever someone builds any dashboards or reports, they're looking for insights into their business processes. In service management, it's typically incidents, problems, knowledge, service levels, and so on. In operations management, it's capacity, events, metrics, and so on. You and your end users, your consumers, need to have insights into all of these. And BMC Helix Dashboards is the right dashboarding solution to enable them to do that. We allow you to connect to a broad range of data sources within Helix so that you can pull that data. And it's not just about displaying data. You need to be able to visually communicate with consumers of information. We help you do that through a wide range of visualizations. Some of them are out of the box Grafana, and there are several that BMC has developed based on feedback we have received from our customers. So through this combination of visualizations from BMC and Grafana, you will be able to develop a broad range of dashboards that help your businesses get insights into service management and operations management. Although we use Grafana as the engine, BMC is developing key IP, especially in areas like scheduling, exporting, and distribution. So BMC Helix Dashboards isn't just Grafana that's packaged as dashboards. We have added value on top of what Grafana provides out of the box. We have delivered an extensive set of out-of-the-box dashboards and reports, and this list just goes on increasing over time. The best part is that BMC Helix Dashboards is available across all key BMC Helix solutions. Why is BMC Helix Dashboards the right solution for you, for your needs? BMC Helix Dashboards is one centralized service. It's delivered as a common service within ADE services. If you use BMC's ITOM solutions, you're familiar with ADE solutions, Automated Digital Enterprise. Dashboards is one of those centralized solutions. And with dashboards, you can remember what I said about service ops, that the essence of service ops is to able to drive outcomes in one domain based on what happens in the other. So based on events, metrics that happen in ITOM, you should be able to see its impact on incidents, changes, and so on in service management. Helix Dashboards allows you to do that. These are all the solutions or BMC Helix products that Dashboards works with. The entire range of products in service management, which is not just ITSM, but it also includes digital workplace, business workflows. If you've built any custom applications using Innovation Suite, you can develop dashboards on those applications as well. On the operations management side, also, you can see a broad range of BMC Helix products that Dashboards works with. Let's look at a few sample dashboards that we have delivered out of the box. This one is a digital workplace request overview dashboard. You can see at the top, you can see metrics around the number of requests waiting approval, and so on. You'll see trends of submissions of service requests, fulfillment trends. Also, one of the responsibilities of the service desk management team are to ensure that the service desk is sufficiently staffed. So there needs to be some workforce planning. How do you plan staffing of your service desk teams, about your application support, network support, and so on? This dashboard can help throw light on the demand for IT services, and accordingly, you can plan the delivery of these services. This is a dashboard that draws data from operations management and service management solutions. So you can see at the top, all of these stats show you data from operations management, health score, situations, availability, and so on. Excuse me. Then at the bottom, you see data from service management applications, incidents, SLA, service requests, change requests. And in the middle, you see a timeline that shows health, events, and incidents. So you can correlate what's going on in service management through incidents based on the health of your services and based on events. We've got a broad range of visualizations that can help drive action. It's not just about pulling data and showing it in tables. To make an impact, you need to present your data in a way that impels someone to action, to be able to consume the information in a way that helps them identify the anomalies in that data, or more importantly, the anomalies in those processes or practices. We do this through a range of visualizations. We have got, so all of these visualizations that are prefixed with BMC, like crosstab, record details, bar chart, table, all of these are custom visualizations that BMC has developed. And there are several others that we ship out of the box from Grafana. Grafana is a proven technology for dashboarding in the market. We're increasingly seeing more and more companies adopting Grafana. If you're looking to hire resources, it's easy to find resources or people with Grafana skills in the market. And even for your existing developers and end users, it's easy to get up to speed with developing reports using Grafana. Now we come to the next section of this workshop, where we'll show you some of the dashboards that have been developed by BMC IT. BMC IT uses BMC Helix solutions for managing our IT infrastructure, our IT service desk, and our operations management services. The first one is a CIO dashboard. It gives you a good overview of what's going on in IT. At the top, you see some stats cards. These are based on open events. You see outages. Then you see a distribution of business services, top 5 business services by outages. You see top 5 technical services by outages. Ultimately, all your support teams are aligned by business services or technical services. You also see uh, other important data such as number of business services, technical services, and various other data such as databases, hosts, virtual machines, and so on. The next one is a vCenter overview. If you use VMware vCenter, this dashboard gives you the ability to have control over your VMware estate. So it's about availability, about communication. You see CPU utilization, memory utilization, uh, disk utilization, everything you need to know about your VMware estate. This dashboard is an application availability dashboard that makes use of gauges. Gauges are a good visualization to show any metric that can be shown over a continuum. It's the most apt visualization to use for anything that's shown as percentage. So for example, availability. Typically, you would expect the availability of any service to be close to 100%, but where exactly or what exactly is your availability? You can use gauges to show your application availability or even others where it makes sense to use this visualization. Next up, we have some ITSM reports or dashboards. This is an incident aging analysis. Service desk teams need to ensure that in order to deliver services that meet and exceed the needs of your customers, you need to ensure that the work in progress is in control. And this dashboard shows you. So, for example, the first panel shows you how many incidents are open between 7 and 14 days. The second one is 14 to 30 days, and so on. Then a further breakdown by assigned group. You'll see which support teams have got the most incidents that are still open, and accordingly, the service desk manager or the incident manager can take action. Then there's a crosstab report, crosstab by aging and priority that immediately throws up those areas where you need to take action. Now I'm going to hand off to Abhinay to conduct the next section of this presentation on migrating reports from smart reporting. Over to you, Abhinay.
Thank you, Nikhil. I'll share my screen, and
Yes.
Sam, if you can please confirm once you can see.
Yeah. It's come up, yeah. If you want to put it into full screen.
Yes, let me just move this over to my second monitor. All right, let's start.
I've swapped the screen over. You need to swap. You're on the other display. That's it. Perfect. Well done.
All right. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Abhinay. I'm a practice manager with consulting services at BMC and drive an initiative called Center of Excellence for Helix Dashboards within PS. And as part of that, we work closely with the product team, Nikhil, and rest of the team in setting up some best practices around our product, as well as taking the feedback from the field and passing it back to the product team for product improvements. So we have heard Nikhil talk about why Helix Dashboard is a better solution for dashboarding and reporting needs. Now let's talk about how we can do this transition from smart reporting to Helix Dashboard. We'll also talk about how we can do an assessment, how we are using our current platform, and then we'll look at a sample migration strategy. we'll look at some of the learnings from other customers as well. All right, so our based on our working with multiple customers who have gone through this journey, we have established this framework which adheres to all the best practices in doing this migration. Now, I've mentioned BMC PS in this slide, but that is applicable to, you can take it as any team who is helping you do the migration. It could be your own internal team, it could be a BMC partner, or it could be BMC PS. And the framework is equally valid for any legacy tool to Helix dashboard transition. Rest of the session will be much more focused on smart reporting transition, but the broad principles apply across the board. So it starts with prepare phase, where we are trying to understand what are the differences in the two platforms. We are trying to understand what the new platform is, the gaps in the current platform, and how the mapping is between the two feature set. So the sessions such as the one that you are attending right now and the prerequisite trainings that you might have attended before coming to this webinar, they are all part of your prepare phase. There are plenty of material available on our communities page, BMC YouTube, where you'll find more information. BMC education courses are another such good source for information. Now, once we understand what we are up against, what we are dealing with, then we move into planning phase, which is where we want to understand how we are using the current platform and what are the reports which are top priority for us, and then have a migration plan for all of them. This is followed by migrate and validate phase, which go hand in hand. So you do some report migration. We'll talk about different strategies, different ways you migrate. And once you do the migration, the end user need to validate it. Does the report make sense to them? The consumers of the report need to have a say whether the report aligns to what they were expecting. Does it show the data in the way they could consume? Finally, we move on to transition, which is where you go live with all the new reports in the new platform. And if you have an external team working with you, BMC PS or a partner, they'll do a knowledge transfer on how this was all done. So let's move ahead and let's look at how we do the assessment of the current usage. Now, before we talk about the assessment, let's try to understand some of the key differences in the two platforms. And I have listed 4 object types here: reports, dashboards, broadcasts, and linked reports. Of course, there are many more ways where you can do a comparison, but we are only concerned with the features which will have the biggest impact on time and effort required for this migration. Now, first thing you'll notice is on smart reporting world, you had all different types of reports. You had core display reports, you had standalone reports, you had dashboards. Whereas if you look at Helix dashboard, everything is a dashboard. So it can have one or multiple panels on it, but everything is a dashboard. So that's the biggest difference and something we need to be cognizant of when we are planning this migration. So you can see a report which has one visualization or single tabular report. All of them will map to a dashboard which has one panel. If you have a report which has multiple visualizations or a core display report or a dashboard, all of them will map to a Helix dashboard which has multiple panels on it. So broadcast and drill down, drill through have very similar functionality on Helix dashboard. The other thing that you would mention is you would notice is some of them are supported by the conversion utility, the migration tool that we provide, and some of them like visualizations will have a conditional support. That means certain chart types are supported. So let's take a look at that mapping as well. Now, the two platforms are very different. They are built on different technology. They are catering to different type of needs. As you heard Nikhil talk about the service ops. So Helix Dashboard is more in tune with taking the information from AI ops world as well as service management world and giving you a service ops view. So the visualizations also reflect that. And the most commonly used visualization on smart reporting have something very similar, if not exactly same on Helix Dashboard. But there would be some visualizations which do not make sense for Helix Dashboard kind of a platform. So you may not find some of them. A thermometer is one such example. But more or less for most of the commonly used visualization on Helix, on smart reporting world, you'll have something similar in Helix Dashboard. So depending on the visualization that you're using, some of them may or may not be supported by the conversion tool. So that's another factor that we need to be cognizant of. Now let's talk about the assessment. Now that we understand the differences and similarities in the two platforms. So here are the 5 things, top 5 factors that we need to understand. And this all draws from what we have already talked about. So number 1, you can imagine the number of reports will have a big impact. How many reports are you talking about? 50, 500, 5,000? So the volume of report is the number 1 factor. But then we need to also understand what type of reports are these. So what visualizations are they? Are they standalone reports? Are they co-display reports? And so on. And when we have this data, we also want to know the complexity of these reports. And complexity would depend on different parameters and also depends on what type of report we are talking about. So for instance, if you have a co-display report, the biggest impact factor on complexity would be how many child reports, embedded reports do you have in it. So if it's a simple co-display, a small co-display report with just 2 embedded reports, or it's a large one with 8 or 10 embedded reports, so we need to get that kind of a count. The next one, the frequency of report being run, and the closely related parameter is when was it last accessed. So this will help you understand the priority of that report, or how important that is for the consumers, how frequently they need that report. So this parameter will help you determine the priority of that report. The next, we have some of the other factors which are again important. Is that report part of any dashboard? How many broadcasts are associated with setup on that report? Does it have drill down, drill through linkages? Now, how do we do this assessment? How do we get all this information? So there are SQL queries which are published on PMC documentation. The screenshot that you see on the right hand side and the link will take you there. It shows all the different queries. There are many more, so you can get very granular data on many different aspects. Like I said, for the purpose of this particular assessment, we are just looking at the factors listed on the left hand side, but you can get much more information if you want to in different aspects. Now let's take a look at one of the sample assessments that we have done. So this one was done by PS team, and it uses a custom version of queries, but it's based on the same queries that we talked about on PMC documentation. So what you see is essentially all the parameters that I just talked about. So we can see for each of the reports, what was the 90-day hit count for it. Now, we've used 90-day hit count for this particular assessment, but every organization would have a different cutoff date, so to speak, for looking how far back they want to look at. It could be 90 days, it could be 120 days, 180 days. So it depends on how far back you want to look at when you're doing the prioritization. 90 days, what is most commonly used across all customers that we have worked with. But again, you can choose a different number. The next one is public or private. So if there are any reports which were private and therefore not visible to a wider audience, so you don't even know that those reports exist. So again, a good information to have. Then we want to know what visualization the report was using, followed by 4 counts, which are giving an insight into the complexity of the report. So you have calculated fields, use of advanced database functions, how many reports are linked to it. So drill down, drill through kind of relationships. If it's a core display report, how many child reports does it have? And next you see is dashboards. So if this report is part of any other dashboard, so that is listed here. So we're talking about the smart reporting dashboards here. And finally, you have broadcasts listed over there. So once we have that assessment, we have a fair understanding of the usage of our current platform, smart reporting. Now let's put it all together, whatever we have talked about in last few slides, and here's a sample migration strategy based on that. I say it as a sample because, again, every organization is different and you may want to do it a little differently. So this can be tweaked, especially the migrate and validate phase. But roughly, it follows the same sequence. So we talked about prepare phase with awareness, sessions, and learnings, which leads us to the planning phase, starting with the assessment. So now we have done the assessment. We've all that information that that you saw in the previous slide. That leads us to filter and prioritization. I touched this a little bit earlier, but now we have the hit count. So we want to filter the reports which are not really in use and they're just lying there. Now, over a period of time, most of the companies, because there's no governance in place for reporting, the reports quickly pile up. So everybody is can create a report, create reports. Many of them may not be in use, in actual use. So these reports are just lying there, inflating the numbers. So we don't need to worry about them. So we can filter them out. The next thing is prioritizing. So you have the hit count, you know when the report was last accessed. We can also get information on who accessed it. And based on these, we can prioritize our reports. Now, it is crucial that we prioritize because we most focus on top priority reports. We want to dedicate more time on the priority reports as compared to the ones which are low priority. So this prioritization is really important. Once we have done that, we can define scope for a pilot phase. Now, again, why we want to narrow down the scope after filtering is because it's very tempting that you want to execute the automated conversion tool against all the reports that you might have in the shortlist. But again, there's only so much focus from time, especially from the end users available to you for validating these reports, which always have to be manual step. So it's always recommended we start with a small pilot phase with the highest priority reports. That will allow us to do a much more focused planning as well as later validation by the end users. So once we have done that, we have defined the scope for pilot phase. That would be a small focused set of reports. we do the analysis and estimation. So what do I mean by, again, analysis here and estimation? So estimation is how much time and effort we are going to take for this small set of reports. And the analysis is essentially identifying the right migration plan for each of those reports, which will map to either convert, recreate, or reuse. Now, convert is you take the SQL query as is and you move it to the new platform, the underlying SQL query of the smart reporting report. And that could be done either through the tool, you execute the tool and it takes the SQL query, or you manually copy it over if the report is not supported type. But essentially, you are taking the SQL query as is and moving it across. The second option is recreating the report. Now, with the new features available in this platform in Helix Dashboard and the service ops value that you get from this platform, you may want to reimagine certain reports. So if you're recreating a report, this is where we talk about recreate, and there are different ways where you can in which you can recreate, and we'll talk a little bit about Visual Query Builder later, and Ajinkya will take us through a demo. Now, the last one is reuse. So we here what we are saying is there are some reports where you don't need to migrate at all or create something from scratch at all. There are a bunch of out-of-box dashboards available to you, and some of them might function better than what you already had in smart reporting. So why not reuse some of that? There is also community user community contributed content. Then you have a marketplace. We'll touch upon this later. So once we have a migration plan for our reports, we take the reports that we wanted to convert through the tool assisted conversion. So the tool will, we execute the tool against a list of reports, and then we do a validation uh, at the migration team level. So the team itself does the first level of validation. If there are any gaps from the source report, fix those, and once the team is happy, pass it on to the end users, the consumers of the report, for their validation. If everything goes well, we move on to the transition phase where we go live into the production environment. There would be a knowledge transfer. Like I said, if you have an external team working with you, they'll explain how this was done and document all of it. This ends the pilot phase, and then we can move on and pick the next set of priority reports for conversion. Now let's talk about some of the learnings from other customers who have gone through this journey. And the first one that I would want to talk about is report sprawl. I touched upon this briefly in the previous slide. So when we talked about the need to filter and prioritize. Now, what we have seen across the board, across all customers, there are a lot of reports which are lying unused. And the number varies, but we have seen this go somewhere from 50% to 90%. So 50% not being used, to as high as 90% of the reports not being used. So they are just lying there and inflating the numbers. So in the first assessment, the number may come out to be really high, that you have these thousands of reports lying in there. But then when you take a closer look, what we have seen is customers are always surprised, all these reports just lying there, not being used. So this is first thing that we need to be cognizant of. Filter out the reports which are not being used. Now, reasons we have seen are many, but most common reasons of this report not being in use are something like they were created for some one-time use, looked at the report, now it's not being used at all. or the owners have changed. Owners have moved out of organization or a different part of organization, and they don't need this report anymore. And many cases, the reports are marked private. So it was just the owner who was looking at that report. Nobody else was even aware of those reports. So again, good candidates to filter out. Uh, After that, once we have done this, the next thing is identifying the redundant reports. So what do I mean? This essentially maps to the reuse point that we talked about in the previous slide. So there are a lot of reports which can be replaced by some existing content, either out of box dashboard or community contributed content. Now, uh, Nikhil talked about all these out of box dashboards, and every release we are adding new based on the common needs across all our customers. So most commonly required dashboards are already there. So we'll highly recommend that you take a look at these and use these instead of any report which was serving the same purpose. So we don't need to migrate those. The other way that you can replace a report is using the new consoles. The right-hand side of the screen, you see two screenshots of our new console, the shared ticket console, and you have asset console. Many cases we have seen the reports are simple tabular reports, which are just giving um, simple information on the ticket assignments or assets. So such information can be readily accessed from these consoles. So rather than creating a separate report for it, why not just use one of those consoles? You can create and save presets. You can export this data. So most of the common uses for simple tabular reports can be done through these consoles as well. Finally, the last one I want to again emphasize is planning of the phases. So I talked about having the importance of having a very focused pilot phase. And this is really important because we have seen when somebody uh, uh, wants to do a large number of reports, it's very tempting. You want to do it all at once, but smaller sprints, iterations will help you do a much focused migration and much better validation. So the reports that come out and go live are much more ready and much more refined. So now let's talk about three of our customers. All three were very different. So I just want to talk about how um, uh, they have gone through this journey, and some of it will reflect all the points that we talked about in the previous few slides. The first one that you have is a large government department, and they had really complex reports, really big code displays, a lot of embedded reports, and the performance was not so good. And after the assessment, what we decided was, let's not take the reports as is. We want to optimize the reports as we move, and let's look at how we can do this better. So it was done in multiple phases, all of them focused on certain number of priority reports. Finally, after the assessment, their initial number, which was 5,200 reports, was came down to 95 priority reports. There were a few other reports that they would eventually migrate, but for the for the first phase, only 95 reports were considered. The migration was done in a agile way. So we had 10-day sprints. At the start of every sprint, during sprint planning, we would pick up certain number of reports depending on how many we can handle in that sprint based on the complexity. So that would be somewhere around 7 to 8 reports in a sprint. And like agile approach, as you can imagine, so UAT was going in parallel for the ones that were converted in the previous sprint. So uh, at the end of every sprint, you had certain reports which were ready to go live. And next one we have is a retail giant, and they are a classic example of the report sprawl. 11,000 reports in the first assessment, and which can scare anyone. But then when we took a closer look, the list was right away cut down to 6,000, because the rest of the reports were never used, or were used long back. So we had this smaller list now, 6,000 reports. But again, on closer look, there were only 381 reports which were identified for the priority reports for the conversion. The next one we have is a large e-commerce player, and what sets them apart is the way they decided to go about the migration. So instead of going report first, prioritizing the report, they went dashboards first. So you have certain dashboards, and then there are reports linked to it. So they had few dashboards which were priority for them. So all the reports that are linked to those dashboards were marked as priority reports. So they started with 2 of these dashboards and 57 reports which were directly or indirectly linked to these dashboards. So you have some reports directly linked, and then you have drill down, drill throughs, and other reports linking into them. Now, this was again a highly agile approach, and there were the conversions done weekly. UATs happened weekly, and go lives also happened weekly. So there were mini go lives, so to speak, every week. So you had certain reports going live, functional, available to end users. So every organization, as you can see, is very different, and you may be different than all 3 of them, or you may have some similarity. So it's important that we do a very uh, when we are doing planning, we are very careful and we understand what is the best approach suited for us. Now, I won't spend a lot of time here because Ajinkya is going to take us through demo later on, but I talked about recreating reports. So in certain cases, we would want to recreate reports from scratch. And to make it easy, we have Visual Query Builder available, which allows you drag and drop approach, and SQL query is generated automatically. So when we are planning our migration, something again to keep in mind, Metadata Studio helps extend out-of-box views and create custom views. So once you are done this, it will be available in Visual Query Builder for drag and drop of the fields in that view. I'll quickly go through some of the resources which are available to you for planning this migration. Number one stop would always be PMC documentation. So whatever we have talked about, all the information you would be able to find here. There are a lot of other resources available on our communities page and on BMC Docs. So do take a look at these. Education courses. So you would have done a few courses before attending this one. There are many others available. And when you access BMC Academy, you would be able to see the latest versions. I have the ones you see on the slide are slightly old. So you have courses available right from the overview all the way up to an administrator. Next, we have PMC communities. I talked about the content available through communities, the dashboards available through communities, but you can also use communities for raising product ideas, and other people can vote on it. You'll also have other knowledge articles, blogs, and best practices coming in from various PMC teams. So very good place to get more information on dashboards. Finally, if you need help from BMC professional services to take you through this journey, you can use these two service offerings from PS. The one on the left-hand side is more specifically for doing a migration from smart reporting to Helix dashboard. And the one on the right is more suited for starting from scratch. So if you want to, you are creating dashboards from scratch, this is the one you would want to go. The both have similar structure, so you'll have time from architect who would do a workshop with you to understand the requirements, followed by the implementation by a subject matter expert from PS, followed by knowledge transfer, how this was all done. And with that, I am done and passing it to Ajinkya for the product demo.
Thanks, Abhinay. Thanks. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ajinkya. Abhinay, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thanks. And thanks for all the information on the migration. Let me quickly share my screen. So, yeah. Okay. Can you please confirm if you can see my
Yes.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Hello, everyone. So, I'm going to show you all Visual Query Builder and Reporting Metadata Studio, how it helps to create dashboard very quickly. And as being as a smart reporting user, Visual Query Builder gives you a similar experience of creating dashboard. So let's see how we can use Visual Query Builder to create dashboards. Okay, so this is our Helix portal, first landing page on the Helix portfolio. I'm just opening Helix dashboard from here. Okay, so this is just my home screen. I'm just closing this doc window. Okay, so I'll just use this first plus button to create new dashboard. I'm creating a new dashboard. I'm just clicking on add new visualization. For getting data from different application, different BMC Helix application, we have this dashboard visualization tool. So okay, so for service management, again, there are three types. Either you can use this form to create, or you can use SQL or Visual Query Builder, these two options. So SQL is freehand SQL, and Visual Query Builder, the one that I was talking about, which gives you a similar experience like a smart reporting to create dashboard. Okay, so I'm just clicking on this Visual Query Builder. It opens this entire screen, and if you see here, the view is selected. And first view is incident management. So if you see, there are many views provided by BMC as a out of box, like this change management, problem management, work order, and so on. So for now, for this demo, I'm just going to use visual incident management as a view. This view, when I say view, it's a combination of multiple forms in the AR, and also the join, and also the fields from that particular form, or the column from that particular table. Okay, so if you see here, there are categories, like we call this as a fields. Okay, so incident management, and these are all incident related. Then we have some which are like only the date type. So if you notice, the icon represent that this is a date and time type of field. If you see here, these are the submitters, so it's a string. Okay, a string text type of. Then priority is again enum field. Okay. And similarly, we have some which is like total transfer or group transfer. These are the number field. So that way we have the different icons for different type of field. So let's say if I want to generate a report, let's say a simple report, show me the incident number and its priority. I can simply just drag these two fields. I can click on preview. It will show me, okay, the first 100 rows just for preview, what query I have selected. And if I want to see, okay, what query it is getting generated at the back end, I can simply click on this SQL and it will show that. So if I just click on use query, my panel is ready. I can click on apply and I can save this dashboard. That way my simple panel is ready. I don't need to write a SQL here. I can simply use this drag and drop functionality to create a report. Okay. So if I want to do some aggregation, let's say, right, I want priority wise number of incidents, let's say. Then I can use these aggregate functions. So depending on the field type, there are some aggregate functions associated. So if I click on this now, this will show me the count of incident number based on the priority. This is aggregation function on top of some field, right? We just need to use this three dot and use these functions. If we don't want to use field and then aggregation, there are some predefined calculated field which are like similar to this. Let's say count of incident will give you, if I want to have count of incident, I can simply use this number of incident field, calculated field directly as well. Okay. So I'll just remove this. I'll click on preview and use query. So now this is showing me data for all priority. Let's say I want to filter this data based on the priority. So I can simply add this priority in the category, in the filter, and I can use these values. So as this is enum, we pre-populate the values for it. So I can simply say critical. I'll say preview. It will just show me the data only for critical. When I click on apply, this panel will show data only for critical priority. This visual query builder is like mostly used for creating a query and getting data into the Helix dashboard. Rest all functionality like visualization, all schedule, everything will be same. So there is no change in user experience for that. It is same for all. Now, let's say I have created this panel, but there are use cases where we need a variable or a filter, right? So we can use Visual Query Builder as a filter as well. So let's say I want to create a filter for priority. I can simply say enable query editor, and this will open. This will show me the UI for Visual Query Builder. And here I want to create a filter for priority. So I'll just drag and drop this priority field here in the selection, and I'll click on preview. So these many values. Here I cannot drag multiple things because for variable, it requires only one column. So only one field I can drag and drop. We can have some functions to it. We can add filters, even in the variable that we can do, but only one field in the variable. Okay. So I just click on use query and my panel is ready. Okay. If I click on apply, if I go back to dashboard, this will show critical high, low, medium as a filter, and I can use that here as well. So how to use that? Earlier, with the SQL mode, we have to add that variable reference in the query. Now with the Visual Query Builder, we can simply use this button. Instead of default values, I will use template as priority. I'll just remove this. I will just click on preview. And now this will show data for critical, because first selection is critical. If I switch to high, this will show data for high. If I switch to low, it will show data for low. So this way we can link variable in the VQV as well. Okay. So yeah, these are the Visual Query Builder options flow. If I also want to show you a few more things, like there are multiple out-of-box dashboard similar to incident management. Also, this list will show some custom dashboard as well. Let's say if you have any customization done on the AR side and that is not covered in these out-of-box dashboard, out-of-box views, then we have to modify these views, add our customization, and again publish that view to Helix dashboard so that report editors can use this view. For that customization, what we have another application which is reporting metadata studio. Okay, so to get that studio, what you can do, you can just simply go to administration, then general, then you will see a tile for reporting metadata studio. Okay. From here, you can use this download button. It will download one zip file, which is a Windows application, Windows standalone application that you need to execute or run on any Windows server where you have the casing setup with AR database. Okay, because this tool will need a connectivity between Helix dashboard plus AR database. Okay, for that we can configure casing, and some of the details which are required, you can get it from here. Right, this AR host and port, these are some dummy values because these are the casing gateway host and port. Okay. You can simply use this copy to clipboard button to copy these values. Okay, so now if we talk about reporting metadata studio, so I have just downloaded this zip file from Helix dashboard and I extracted that. It shows me this particular folder, reporting metadata editor. Here we have this BMC auth configuration. And in this, we have to just do a configuration for my ADE information. Okay. So what is my ADE tenant? That information I can quickly get from here from the portal. This is my tenant URL. This is my tenant ID. This is my tenant URL. Again, AR host and port. This is the casing configuration. So if I just show you, this is my casing configuration file where I've configured this host with this IP address and with this port. So that way I have configured this, and those details I have mentioned here. REST endpoint. This is a platform URL which you can get it from Helix dashboard. Like go to connection, open this particular BMC Helix data source, and inside this there is a platform URL. From here you can get this information. Environment alias, you can give any. For now I'm using this for demo, so that's why I'm given alias as a demo. We can have QA, prod, or dev, any name we can give. This is just a alias. Okay, so this is the environment file. Then we have profile file as well, where we need to mention key and secret of the user who is a reporting admin. Okay, so I'm using this user, IUR user 2, and he is an administrator. Rather, instead of reporting administrator, he is a tenant administrator. And for him, how to get the user access key and secret. So on the Helix portal, if I go to my profile, then I have this option, right, to get my access keys. From here, I can simply click on add key and I can give some name and I'll generate my uh, access key for this account. This key has two parts. One is access key and another one is a secret that we can that we can copy and paste in this file and save this file. So with this, all my reporting metadata studio configuration is done. I am ready to open reporting metadata studio. So what I will do, I'll just open this reporting metadata studio in the edit mode. Sorry. Yeah. And I'll just open this batch file. Okay. Reporting metadata studio requires JDK, OpenJDK 17 and above. I have just configured 17 here on this server. This will like do authentication with the respect of your access key and secret and opens up this UI. So whenever you open first time, you'll see like this blank screen. There is no connection, nothing. This is our first landing screen for reporting metadata studio. Here we have some option. This is a Windows normal application, which we can use to modify view. Okay. So before we modify, we can get these out-of-box views plus the custom views from Helix Dashboard. So if you see, these are all out-of-box dashboard provided. These are all custom dashboards which I have created on this set. Okay. To start with any customization, we have three options. Either you can take any out-of-box dashboard, do the modification, save it with some different name, and publish to the Helix dashboard, and your view will be ready. Or else you can create from scratch. Just click on this new and start creating your view. Or third option is we can use this sample metadata view as a baseline where we have only two table and few columns from that table and one join. So that we can take it as a reference and extend that according to your need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take again incident management, same view. I'm just clicking on OK to import. It asks me to save this model with some name. So I'll give 1009, INC 1009. Click on OK. Now what this reporting metadata studio will do, it will actually download this view from Helix dashboard. As being this Helix dashboard as a SaaS application, all the views are stored at the SaaS or the S3 level. Okay. So it will download that file, load that file into this reporting metadata studio, and we are ready to modify this particular view. So if you see, this is our out-of-box dashboard, which consists of HPD help desk, association, base element, task, impact areas, work log. These many tables are already added table or form included in these views. This line shows the relationship between these two columns. This is like hierarchy of the relationship. This is A and this is B. And if you mouse over, you can see the relationship between all these uh, tables or forms. Okay. Before we start, I just need to create a connection to the database. So I'm just opening this connection, database connection. This is a generic database connection to the AR server. Okay, it uses this URL which we pre-populate depending on the configuration in that environment file. Only thing is user need to provide username and password. So I'm going to use same user, right? And I'm just clicking on this test button to verify if my connection is ready. Okay, so my connection is on. Clicking on OK. And now I can use this button to import the table. Okay, so here, import table. Now what I need to add one column, one new table in this view, and one column from that table. So for that, I'm just using this import table. This will show me all the tables from the AR. This list also includes all the customization done into the AR system. So just for demo, I'm going to use HPD statistics as a column, which is not there in this view. I'm just selecting that. I'm clicking on OK. Now, if you see, my table is added here as a physical table. Okay, these are all physical tables. Now, in this business model, we have to add this new table as a business table. So I'm just clicking on add new business table. I'm selecting this, and now this HPD help desk, HPD statistics, which was physical table, now it added as a business table. Now I need to add relationship between these two. So I can click on new relationship. I'll say HPD help desk of incident number. Let's say incident number. Let me just get that. Incident number and HPD helpdesk statistics and its instance counter. With this, I'm going to join because I know this schema. So I'm going to join these two table with the inner join. So I'm selecting inner join and I'm clicking on OK. So if you see, this line is generated and it shows the relationship between these two tables. I'm just simply saving this, okay, just to preserve my work. Now, after you save this, okay, this will take some time. Now, what next? I want few column, which I want to use it as a field from this statistic table. So what I will do, I'll just add new category. Okay, I'm just, when I say category, it is the folder which we have seen on the Visual Query Builder. I'll say stats, and new folder is created. I'm just going to add few fields. Let's say status in this particular stat folder. I'll say user. I want user. I want company. I think that's all for now, just for a demo. And I'm clicking OK. So if you see, these 3 fields got added. And if you notice, like these are all the fields which we see on the visual query builder in this same order. So I'm just clicking on save again, just to save. Now my changes, whatever the changes that I wanted to do as a customization in out-of-box dashboard, that is done. I just want to verify my changes and verify my join. So here we have this query builder. We can use this query builder just to verify the changes. Okay. So I'm just selecting, okay, incident number I want, which is from HPD help desk, and I want these 3 fields which I have added, which are from HPD statistics that I have added. I can simply click on this SQL and see, okay, how is the join created. So if you see the join is correct, also the columns are there. And I can click on this run button. So, okay, so it will show me some data as well, so first 5,000 rows for the preview purpose. Okay. So now I'm happy with all my changes that I wanted to do in the view. I'm saving this one more time just to not miss anything. And next step is, as this studio is on my Windows machine, I want to make this view available for all the reporting user, right? Report editor. So what I have again published to Helix dashboard option. And here I can see demo. And this is the alias which I have given in this file, right? The alias. So here we have this option as well, configure tenant environment. Let's say there is a use case. You are creating this view on the dev environment. You test everything on the dev environment, but you don't want to create a view again on the QA or on the prod. You just want to publish this to QA or prod, right? So in that case, you can configure another tenant environment by using this option, and then give some different alias and select that name to publish your view. Right now, I have only one, so I'm just selecting this demo. Okay. It is asking me for some name, so I'll give the same name, INC 1009, today's date. I'll simply say, okay. Now, what it will do, this reporting metadata studio will again generate an XML file, check the authentication, like the reporting metadata studio authentication, upload this file to report to Helix dashboard. Okay, so this is now upload is done. It shows this is available. So if I go back again to Helix dashboard, and if I try to create a new dashboard using VQB, okay. So let's say I am a viewer or report editor here. Now, if I want to use the views which is created by admin, so I'll just say INC 1009. Okay. So this view is available for me, and I can see, okay, stat folder is also I can see here. I'll again create same report on the VQB as well. Let's say incident number, status, user, and company. And I'll click on preview. This will show me again a similar result. Okay. So this way we can do customization in the reporting, in the out-of-box views, or we can have the different views depending on all our customization done in the AR database. So yeah, that's what I wanted to present. I'll just hand it over to Nikhil again. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Ajinkya. There's one, I've answered most questions, but there's one
Mm-hmm.
question. Can you respond to
Mm-hmm.
that? If I have a CSV file with some values which is not available in ITSM forms and wanted to use the CSV, can we do it? As BHD have CSV plugin available.
Yes, we can use CSV as a data source. BMC provides CSV plugin, which is available in the BMC Helix dashboard. Only thing is we just need to raise a work order with the DevOps to configure that CSV data source for your tenant. And also one more thing, this CSV needs to be uploaded on the server SMTP server provided by BMC because there is a connection already configured for that CSV server. And then we can use this CSV file as a data source.
Thanks. Can
Hope
you
this
also,
answers. Yeah,
in the Q&A, can you type an answer to this question, please?
sure. I'll
Yeah.
do that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. All right. I'm now going to be presenting the roadmap in just a moment. Now let's look at the product roadmap. Wanted to reiterate Visual Query Builder, the drag and drop report designer. This allows your users to create reports without having to write SQL. In most companies, there is a central team that develops reports for everyone, data analysts. If they don't need this, it's fine. But we often see there are people who want to develop reports, but are unable to write SQL. Visual Query Builder is for such users. Using a drag and drop interface, how Ajinkya just showed us how you can easily create reports using VQB, Visual Query Builder, and the along with the reporting metadata studio, you can then extend the capabilities of Visual Query Builder for your custom applications, custom forms, and custom fields. Another recent feature to reporting metadata studio is that you can now define global constraints to a metadata view to help you meet the statutory requirements or legal requirements certain countries. We already find some of our customers are using this. So for example, if you want to filter on a metadata view, you want to apply a filter on a metadata view without having to rely on the report developer to build that condition, you can do that. Based on feedback from customers, we have also added several improvements in Visual Query Builder. So operators such as between, not in, they are available. If you want to manipulate data using data string functions, typically string functions are typically used for data quality purposes. Sometimes you may not have good quality data in the system that you're trying to report on. For example, if there are values like yes and no, you may find some have yes written in all uppercase letters, some have yes written in all lowercase. So it helps to standardize these values. So you can use strings like upper and lower to convert all values to uppercase or all to lowercase. If your data has leading or trailing spaces, in SQL, you would use functions like ltrim and rtrim. You can now use the same functions even in VQB. You can use date and time functions, such as if you want to just show not the entire date, but just the month or the year, then you can do that. Likewise, if you just want to show time, then there are time functions also to support that. Some other improvements such as filter operators, functions like in, not in, is null, not null, equals, all of these are now available. Role-based access control allows you much more granular control over roles and permissions. Now we sync roles are created in BMC Helix portal and they sync to dashboards. There are 3 out-of-the-box roles: admin, editor, and viewer. Now you can create your custom roles so that you can decouple these roles from Helix portal. And for each role, you can give them custom permission. So if you can see in this screenshot, you can create a custom role that is and you can define at a granular level what permissions that role has: the ability to view dashboards, create dashboards, download them, create data sources, create or view calculated fields. You can create custom roles with these permissions, and then you assign this role to your users. So these are some of the examples of what's possible using role-based access control. You can restrict access to folders to just specific roles, or you can allow only specific roles to download reports. You can allow only specific users or roles to manage your schedules. All of this is possible with role-based access control. We've also made improvements to exporting to PDF and Excel. So PDF improvements, all rows that you see in the UI are exported. Even on the UI, if it requires scrolling, when you export the report, it will be exported with scrolling. There are formatting improvements in the table plugin, and several other minor improvements across different plugins. We delivered a few out-of-the-box dashboards in AIOps. There's an anomalies overview, there's an anomalies by service, and a univariate anomalies by device. We've got detailed documentation on all of these. On our roadmap, we have some formatting improvements to handle word wrap. I retain the carriage return. For example, in a long text field in ITSM, you may have data in multiple paragraphs. So we'll be able to manage or retain that formatting inside that field and use it in our exports. The ability to resize a panel dynamically to capture all the content without scrolling, that's also on the roadmap. You can also have reports scheduled to be sent to users in their email. They can receive dashboards in their inbox. You can also have, there are also other methods of scheduling, such as FTP and using formats such as PDF, Excel, and CSV. If you're an MSP, you'll be able to use dashboards in the near future for various use cases. So for all your companies that you support, you'll be able to allow the users associated with each of these companies to use dashboards. They'll be able to use dashboards and see only data for their own company. Likewise, we'll also offer MSP support on the item side. Another exciting roadmap feature is the ability to backup dashboard definitions. So this is not dashboard data, but dashboard definitions and schedules. You'll be able to backup your dashboards so that you can restore them from backup as necessary. Sometimes inadvertently someone deletes the dashboard. It is useful to restore it from the backup. You'll also be able to backup metadata views so that you can restore them when required. We're also looking at the ability to not just take backups manually, but also automate them. Audit trail. Audit trail can help you keep a trail of what's going on, who's creating or modifying reports, schedules, folders, all of that. We've got some exciting scheduling improvements on the roadmap. Conditional scheduling is about scheduling a dashboard only if certain conditions are fulfilled. For example, if the dashboard is blank, do not schedule the report. If you do this, the schedule is executed, but it's sent to users only if there's data in the report. Dynamic recipient scheduling. This is different from static recipient scheduling, wherein you statically define who are the recipients of your dashboards. With dynamic recipient scheduling, the list of recipients will be derived from the result set of another panel in that dashboard. We are also looking at the possibility of giving a permission to view schedules of other users so that you can know who else has scheduled a specific dashboard. Allowing sending dashboards to all members of a team. Today, you can send it to a user or one or more users. We are looking at how you can allow sending dashboards to all members of a team. Also, the ability to deactivate the schedules of users who are no longer active. We continually deliver dashboards on the roadmap. What you see on the screen are most of these are on the roadmap. The ones that are highlighted in blue, these have already been delivered. So incident agent, problem agent, change agent, these have already been delivered. But several others, especially related to CMDB, discovery, operations management, these are on the roadmap. Usage statistics, you'll be able to get insights into the user usage of dashboards. So who are, for example, what are your most used dashboards? What are your least used dashboards? And in terms of the number of times that a dashboard has been run, what are your most commonly used visualizations? From time to time, we have to deprecate visualizations or deprecate plugins to stay current with technologies. You'll be able to find out which dashboards are running on plugins that have been deprecated. Likewise, reporting on your users, your active users, inactive users, schedules, failed schedules, all of that is on the roadmap. Slightly longer term, you'll be able to embed dashboard widgets in application consoles. So for example, from ITSM, from within Smart IT, you'll be able to launch dashboards. We can implement widgets that show you a basic dashboard from within ITSM without having to come to the dashboards UI. You'll be able to leverage marketplace, BMC marketplace for dashboard templates. So for example, if you've developed dashboards that you want to share with others, just the template, just the dashboard definition, not your data, of course. You'll be able to upload them to BMC Marketplace from where others can use it. Likewise, you can browse the BMC Marketplace to download any dashboards that others have developed. This is a good opportunity for our partners to share the content, the dashboard content they have developed for others, and this will help you market your services to our customers. With that, now I'm going to hand over to Sam to talk about our design partnership initiative.
Hey, thanks, Nikhil. So just a reminder, I know some have already been on these calls before, but design partnership is really important to us at BMC. We work very closely, certainly the product team, with the product UX. So Nikhil, if you can just move to the next slide. We always give the opportunity that if you're interested in getting involved, it really is an opportunity for you to collaborate with us, product management, UX, and our data science and engineering teams. Plenty of reasons why. Gives you the opportunity with the voice of the customer. You get to see a preview of things that are coming up, often get involved in beta testing. It's an experience and an opportunity to just really talk with BMC and share what some of your concerns, challenges may be, and also where we can get some improvements, and also to influence the roadmap going forward. So to sign up, the next slide, we have a QR code. So if you do have your phones handy, you have an opportunity to sign up now and put your name forward or your company. There's also a link where it says click here. We will be sharing the slides out today. So if you haven't got, as I said, your phone at the moment, you'll be able to click on these slides when we send them out later. So if you are interested or you want to find out more details before you sign up, please reach out to me, or I will put you in contact with Angela that runs this program within the design partnership. So just a reminder, we've done quite a lot of these recordings. We are going to be doing another one on the 24th. So on that one, it will be more EMEA US hours. So that's going to be in the afternoon, India time, evening. So if you do have any colleagues or different parts of the business that would be interested, do go onto the webinar page and you can sign up for that. These were the past ones, and I will be putting all the details from today as well. Any general questions, please reach out to the team. We're doing the best we can to run these sessions on a monthly basis to get customers and partners forward with ready to start using Helix Dashboards. And we will also, in parallel, be running Helix Dashboard updates. You can see in May, we ran a features session. We've also had a few more, and Nikhil and his team will be running regular features, functionality, and updates, as well as trying to get these workshops out every month. So I think that's it, Nikhil. I'm just going to have a look at the Q&A. So I know that there was a couple of questions that were asked. I can see, Ajinka, there is another question for you from Nayak, just saying, may we know which version refresh is available? We don't see it in the environment. We're on 24.x. So I don't know if you want to answer that question, why I start unmuting everyone, and then anyone else that's got any questions, please put them in the Q&A or raise your hand. So over to you, Ajinka, if you can answer that first question.
Yeah, I'm just confirming what is the version. I'll just paste it. But yeah, it is added later. So let me just confirm the version and we'll update here.
Okay, so Nayak, if you can hear us, if you're welcome to come off mute, we will come back to you. It won't be right this minute. We'll get that confirmed. And in the Q&A, which I will be sending out post-event, I will try to get everything out today, if not tomorrow morning. We will send you the response as well and share it with everybody else that have joined the call today. So we will come back on that one. Do we have any other questions?
Just one question
Sure.
from me again.
Hello.
Is it recommended? Hi, Kuldeep here. So is it recommended that the report Meta Studio be the same version of the Helix dashboard what we have? Sometimes I've seen that I've used an older version. I'm not downloaded from the latest one, and the system has upgraded. So will that cause any corruptions of the views?
No, it will not cause any corruption. But if you take the latest one, you will get the latest improvements which we are adding in the reporting metadata studio. Because this is a Windows application, it will not get automatically upgraded. So if you take the latest, whenever you want to update anything in the view, that will be helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ajinka.
Okay, thank you for your question.
So as you start adopting BMC Helix dashboards, we are keen to know of your feedback. If you have questions or whatever feedback you have, good or bad, we are keen to listen from you. Feel free to reach out to me by email. I'll share my email address with you.
What I would also just add to that, Nikhil, we are using obviously that group that's on communities as well. There is a way
Yes.
of connecting. If you can't reach out to the product managers, also, I'm running enough of these sessions with this team. If you're struggling, please reach out to me. I can put you in contact. And then there's the community group, which we're trying to keep quite vibrant. So it's an opportunity for customers to talk to each other as well as speak to our specialists that are on this call today.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I see, Rani, you have a question. I was just going to come to you.
Sure. Thank you. So I have a question. Like we already have views defined in smart reporting, right? So can we, by any chance, migrate the same view to BMC Helix dashboard in the metadata studio?
Can you say that again?
Uh, am I audible?
Yes, you are. I didn't quite follow the question.
Okay. So basically, I wanted to know like whether we can migrate the view from. We already have views in smart reporting, right? For all the ITSM modules. So can we migrate that views to metadata studio to use
No,
that?
no, you cannot.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And one more thing, my second question. So basically, we use the SQL type to build a report. So if there are some functions which I have seen doesn't work if I use any complex reports, we just get an error that this is not an inbuilt function. So do we have any tutorial or any document where we can see which are the inbuilt functions and how we can define any new functions we wanted to use?
Ajinkya?
Yeah. So yeah, there is a page as these functions are the AR or platform functions, right? Because these are not Helix dashboard function. These are used in the Helix dashboard, but the ultimate query is platform. So if you can find this documentation on the AR side, that will be great. Or I will just forward you the link. Which I need. I'll just grab and we'll give you the link where
And
we
it
have
is
all the documented list. Yeah.
okay, and it is possible, right, that we can define more functions so that
Correct.
we can utilize that?
Yes. DBFN function we can add in the ITSM, and
Okay,
that also we can use in the Helix dashboard.
okay. Thank you, Jinkya. Thanks.
Jinka, if you share the link with me, we'll put it into a question so everyone else can get that access in case they need that too. If you can
Sure.
find the direct link, that'll make it quick.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that's all our questions at the moment. I'll just do another request. If anyone does have any questions, you can either raise your hand or come off mute to ask them. Otherwise, if there's anything further, then you have the community group to ask these or come and join some of our other sessions. They are run exactly the same. It's a different audience and they're often at different times. Okay, if we don't have any further questions, we can give you back 15 or so minutes of time. Thank you for hosting, Nikhil. I know Avani's had to drop, and Ajinka, thank you for sharing the demo. As mentioned, the next session that's going to be available is on the 24th of September. This session will be EMEA US session, so that's 7:30 IST time. So it's maybe a little bit late for everyone that's on here today. But if you've got any further questions, please reach out and we will try to get all this information out in the next 48 hours. Thank you for everyone joining and have a good rest of the evening and day wherever you are. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.